Hello, it's Monday. I'm Mandy. We are talking about all things that went on this week in my life, most particularly in my acting career. Thanks for joining me. For anyone who's new here, my name is Amanda Schoonover. I have been a full-time working actor for 30 years. This week I am back home. I just got home from Los Angeles, and here I am in my beautiful home that I paid for by being an actor. I started this series because I was kind of tired of so much curated stuff online. Things are just curated within an inch of its life. And I wanted something that was a little bit more just straightforward, no editing, no bells and whistles, just me talking about things that are going on in my career and things that came up for me during the week. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everyone. And let's talk. So let's get into it. I just got home from Los Angeles. Last week I was coming to you from on location, and I was filming a movie in Los Angeles. I guess it is technically out online, but I can't really talk too much about it until things get closer to the date, just because I am technically under contract not to say too much about it. But I can say that it was at a really big sort of green screen studio, which was not my first time doing something like that, actually. So it was actually kind of pretty cool, you know. The great thing about doing film is you are never totally sure what something's going to be until you get there. Like, sometimes the set could be someone's living room, or sometimes the set could be on a massive sound stage at Warner Brothers, like Perry Mason was. And then sometimes you have sort of in between, where this was on a massive green screen studio, and then they're going to do what they're going to do for the background. So that was a pretty cool week, and I feel in some ways that a little bit of the pressure is already off for the year, because I've already shot a feature film. I've already gotten one out of the way, and no, I shouldn't say out of the way. That probably tells you a lot about my mindset, or tells me about my mindset, and that I should really start being more in the moment and not thinking 6 months down the road, which is something I've been doing for a really long time. But the pressure is off. It's only January, and I've already shot a feature film, which makes me feel really, really good. Now, something that did come up for me this week, and here's what I can already feel tears coming before I start, because I'm just emotional. Those of you who know me know that's just part of who I am. It's a superpower of mine. I get very emotional. Something that came up for me, I'm actually going to ask you all for advice. Something that I really struggle with is just a couple days after coming off of what I would call, for lack of a better term, a sort of rush or a high of being on set for a few days, and on set with a fairly well-known actor. Just a few days after, I got really depressed and sad, and I started going on this spiral of how I'm like, I'm not doing enough. And my career is stalled, which I don't know where that's coming. I don't know where that particular thing comes from. I'm constantly going like, oh, my career is not moving forward, even though it's clear to everyone around me that it is, but it is never clear to me. I got really down, partially because, this is a little bit hard to talk about because I feel some kind of way about doing this, and I think it's easier said than done. But some of my friends are doing so great in the film industry. I've had some friends who have just gotten really great opportunities. I have one friend who's completely blown up in the industry. I don't know that we're friends, but we're acquaintances. I'll say that. I thought we were friends, but and so I've seen that happen. And these are folks that I have worked with. And I look at what they're doing and I go, why not me? And then I feel really guilty because it's so like beaten into us that we're supposed to be happy for people all the time, and that somehow if we're not automatically happy or if we feel jealousy, that we're a horrible person. And I struggle with that. And I had a talk with my friend Kashia where I said to her, like I feel like no matter what I do, it's not enough. And she asked me a really pointed question, and she said, is someone in your life making you feel that way? And I was like, whew. I thought that was a pretty deep question and one that I'm still really thinking over. And whether there are some people in my life who I may need to hold more at arm's distance because maybe the things they say are making me feel a certain way about myself and my career. But I am curious if any of you ever feel, even when things are good, that they're not enough. And if you do, what do you do to manage those feelings? I would love to hear any advice and how you might navigate those feelings, because I wish I could nip them in the bud before they start. And it is almost like it does seem to be a pattern. Sometimes I talk about the industry in a way. My friend Kelly McCon and I were just talking about this too, where some of the cycles in my acting career can feel like an addictive cycle, where I get a real rush from doing something artistic or doing something that may be a really big project or something that really is meaning to me. Whatever the case may be, I can get a rush from it. And then I can kind of crest off of that and then fall into these feelings of depression and unworthiness, or feeling like I'm not doing enough and I'm not where I want to be. And sometimes thinking about where I want to be also makes me feel like ashamed. I would love to get to the point in my film career where I am doing back-to-back projects. I would love to get to the point in my film acting career where maybe I even get some recognition. Maybe someone on a bus is like, hey, weren't you in that thing? I would love to get to the point in my career where I don't have to audition as much, because sometimes that really takes it out of you. And I feel really vulnerable saying some of these things because I feel a little foolish saying that I want these things. And I don't know if some of this is also from spending some time in Los Angeles. I had a really big epiphany when I was in Los Angeles, where I'm like, oh, this is my opinion. It seems to me that in Los Angeles, the most valuable commodity is being famous. And that is very different here on the East Coast, in my opinion. You can tell me I'm wrong. Again, I'm open to any discussion as long as it's as long as we're being civil. Although I'm not sure if what I just said was very civil. I guess it is a bit judgmental. But it did seem to me that there is this pressure when you're in Los Angeles to be famous. And if you are not, the whole culture lets you know that in no uncertain terms. And can really make you feel not good about yourself. Everywhere you look out there, there's billboards with famous people all over them. That is just not the case here. As I was coming home on the train, there was none of that. So it's really in your face. I don't think it's a place where I could spend massive amounts of time, even though I have been going back and forth for the past few years. I can't spend long periods of time there because it really affects my mental health in a bad way, because there's something about the industry that's makes you feel that if you are not famous, you are a failure. And that is kind of how I'm feeling this week. Even the culture on set can be that way. The way that people are treated. And I'm like, we're all doing the same job. The only difference is that somebody either knew somebody or got really, really lucky. And to be clear, you have to be extremely talented to be in the business. So that's not a judgment. So many talented people audition and audition and audition and get nowhere. And I am so terrified that that's going to be my story. And I don't want that to be my story. And I don't even think I want to be famous. I don't think it's that. It is quite possible that this is not a great industry for my mental health. I want nothing more in my career than to work on exciting roles and create art. And I'm not sure that the whole industry feels I don't think a lot of the industry feels the way that I do lately, as we are seeing with the collapse of some of these massive organizations who are pumping out things that have nothing to do with art and have everything to do with making money. And sometimes I go like, did I miss the wave? Like, should I have gotten into this more when I was younger? Because in the 90s, people were really pushing the boundaries of art on film. And I want to make projects like that. And I really hope there's a turn in the industry where more artistic things are being made. I said what I said. There have been some artistic things to come out, but there's been a lot of garbage as well. And it just feels like filler. And it feels like it's making the industry so much harder to even make any kind of impact. So I don't know. It's one of the reasons I want to make my film so badly. I want to make a piece of art. And the script that Jim and I wrote is a really artistic, strange, interesting story that deserves to be seen. And I just I will figure that out, but it's going to take me a little bit of time. Unless anybody watching has $1.2 million that they want to donate to the project. Please contact me immediately if that is you. Anyway, very happy to be home. Very happy to kind of get back to my routine and to get back into the zone of figuring out what the next steps are going to be in my acting career. So, thanks for joining me this week. Join me next week where maybe I'll talk more about what being on set was like, since that was a very interesting experience. So thank you so much for tuning in. If please leave me a comment. Please subscribe if you enjoy listening about things in the industry, or if anything helped you, or if you just enjoy lo-fi, no editing, non-curated, non-bullshit talking about life and acting. Thanks. See you next week.